This is my third time recording this video, and if this one doesn't work well, then you're never gonna see this. Hey y'all, Organizing Higher, welcome or welcome back. I share organization and productivity tips, tools, and resources, so be sure to subscribe if you're into that. So I'm back at work on site after being remote for the past 14 months or so, and I figured what a great opportunity to showcase my office setup. I actually started a new job over the course of the pandemic, and so I'm actually in a new office at kind of resetting up my workstation. So I figured I'd kind of document along the way for folks that are either setting up their own workstation or maybe want to make some adjustments or changes or get ideas for how other people are setting up their workstation. And particularly in this video, I'm going to talk about a tool that I use very regularly to help with my capture habit as I'm practicing GTD and moving through my day and my workflow. And that really simple tool is my in-tray. The in-tray is very basic for me. It's just 2 levels. The bottom level is where I keep scratch paper. I keep basic, I try to reuse paper. So this is things that have been like misprinted or outdated stuff. I use the back side. That way I feel like I'm not being super wasteful. And then I also cut it in half. So each sheet is, 5.5 by 8 or whatnot. So they're not, full pages because I don't find that I use the full page most of the time. So on the bottom, I have these sheets, and on the top is, in theory, an empty in tray. But as things come in, if someone comes in and asks me to review something, maybe we're passing around a card for Josh, or I need to review a proof for a document or some type of physical paper item, I'll usually take that item from the person. Let's say they walk into my office, I'll take that item from them and I'll put that in my in basket. That way I can continue to focus on kind of whatever I have chosen to focus on for the moment, instead of feeling like, hey, this person walked in, I need to drop everything that I'm doing and start working on this task that they've just handed to me so I don't forget. So I just keep it in my inbox and I can refocus on whatever the task is that I'm working on. This also works when sometimes I'll come into my office after, either being away from, at lunch or, away from my desk or whatnot, and I'll walk in and there's some type of documents or something on my desk that someone wants me to look at. Same thing, I'll put that in my in tray. And then when I'm ready to go and process it, which I do as part of my morning routine and then just kind of throughout the day as well, then I will make sure that I get to that particular item and it doesn't get lost. Sometimes I'll also do this with non-paper things. If someone sends me a sample for a t-shirt, I will literally put the t-shirt in my inbox. That way I know where it is. If it's super, super big things, obviously I don't put them there, but for things that will fit in that inbox and that makes sense to put there, I will put in the inbox. If it's something bigger, I might use one of those sheets of paper to put, speaker, check the settings on the speaker, and I put that in the inbox instead of the actual speaker. But it's still an opportunity to capture things quickly without having to feel like I have to drop everything that I'm doing and immediately work on that task. Sometimes I can't add things immediately to Todoist. That's generally my inbox of choice, is to just add everything there. But if I'm logged out of something, or if I'm just otherwise not able to get access to Todoist, then this in basket can be a really good additional capture tool for me. I actually find I use it a lot towards the end of the day because as part of my end of day routine, I log out of my computer. So sometimes, it's not until I've logged out of my computer that I remember that I need to do something that I meant to do XYZ tasks today. I didn't get to it today. I don't have to do it today, but I want to make sure I do it tomorrow. So I'll just write that note down in my in basket. So 2 things that are really important for me when I'm documenting things in my capture tool that way. Number 1, I only put 1 idea or task or thought per sheet of paper. That's because, as I'm processing things, I want to be able to process things one at a time. If I've got, 4 things on 1 piece of paper, then I kind of have to process all 4 at one time, and I might not have the time to do that. So 1 item or idea per sheet of paper. And I always put the date on the paper as well. That way I can very quickly keep myself accountable for clearing out my in basket. I've definitely had some days, particularly at the beginning of the semester, where it's maybe 3 or 4 days before I'm able to get something in, before I'm able to clear out my inbox, that paper inbox. So I try to hold myself pretty accountable for that, and the date really helps with that. I also use a version of this at home in my personal life. I have a pen and paper next to my bedside, and the idea for this video came to me last night when I was basically already asleep. I'd probably been laying there for about 10 or 15 minutes, and I was on my way to dreamland for sure, but of course had this idea that I didn't want to lose. So I just quickly wrote down the idea. I gave myself enough detail so that I could remember, what was that thing that I wanted to do? Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about my inbox. And then I could go back to sleep knowing that my brain wasn't constantly having to hold on to, don't forget XYZ, don't forget XYZ, don't forget XYZ. So I could go back to sleep and not worry about forgetting this great idea that I had. I'm not always great, transparently, about remembering to look at the thing that I wrote down, but I'm getting better at that, and it's a new habit that I will start to work on, particularly if I start to do that a lot. I'll do that, once every 2 months or something like that. I'll have an idea like that comes up for me in the middle of the night. So it's not super often, so that's why it's a habit that's kind of difficult for me to have. So I try to figure out a way to capture that. Let me know if you have suggestions for me in the comments of how I can remember to go back in every morning and check to see if I've written something down, knowing that I don't do it every morning. That's the hard part. Like, it's not like I can just make it a routine, because there's some days where there's nothing there for me to read. So I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But you all let me know what you think might help me. So that's it. I just wanted to talk about that part of my setup. And over the next couple of weeks, I will show other parts of my workflow setup, particularly my office setup. I know I talk a lot about software, Outlook, and Todoist on this channel, but there's also some hardware stuff and physical tools that we use as well. So happy to share those with folks to give them ideas and to just talk about how each of the tools helps me with my workflow. If there are specific areas of the workflow setup that you want to see at my desk, maybe my reference materials or project support folders, the tickler file, my paper tickler file that I've actually been thinking about retiring for a little bit here, definitely let me know. I'm happy to share those videos as well as I'm getting my office all set up. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great week.